is CEO of Pageantry Magazine, Carl Dunn. Carl, welcome to the show. Let's obviously distinguish between pageants that we all know well, Miss USA, Miss America. I've been focusing tonight on what I think are quite perverted and should be outlawed pageants, kids 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. Staggering numbers, 250,000 kids last year, children in beauty pageants. Boys, girls, how big business is this?
Well, it's a very large business, but however, it's a huge umbrella organization, a huge umbrella industry. There's two different types of events, glitz glamour, which is what we have seen by way of the images have been broadcast over the last week, and then unfortunately 10 years ago, and then natural events too. But it is a large industry.
Now, give me a little background. What we don't see, we were talking to this young girl Thumper before, who competed with JonBenet. We've seen the images of JonBenet ad nauseum. What's going on at these pageants? What are the parents doing? Take me behind the scenes at one of these kiddie pageants.
Well, I think again you have to look at the actual event that they're in. There are several different types of events. What we have seen on the news media lately, and with JonBenet in particular, those are more of a glitz or a glamour type pageant, a lot of costume, a lot of makeup. But then again, on the other side of the industry, you also have the natural pageants where the kids are not allowed, and then young people are not allowed to wear makeup. They do not wear costumes. They'll wear off-the-rack garments from their local department store. Youth development, they're learning stagecraft. They're earning scholarship monies, as you'd mentioned before, the ones that we are familiar with, obviously. Miss America, at an older age group, is the largest provider of scholarships for women in the world. And it does start even after children's. It does start at the children's age also, at that same process.
I want to understand some of the economics. So, for instance, a kids pageant where there may be, 30 kids competing. What are the entry fees? Who's running them? Who's making the money? How much it costs? I want to understand obviously you follow the money. That's why these things exist, in addition to having a lot of crazy parents out there. Take me through the economics.
Well, I think, and again, every event is different, and it's up to the individual director. There's no set way to run an event. There's no set judging criteria. There's no set performance criteria, whether they have to perform in a talent competition, whether they're in a swimsuit, whether they're just in a party wear or evening gown. So everyone actually runs their event differently. Some events are free to enter. They're sponsored by possibly a local fair and festival. Some do have entry fees $30, $40, $50, and then some are quite substantial more. And even in some events, they actually have optional competitions that may not particularly give any points toward an overall score, but it gives the young person an opportunity to actually compete in other areas, possibly photogenic or a talent competition if it is not an overall criteria for that actual event.
Carl, are there any restrictions on who can get in to watch these things? Because I keep going back to, without these beauty pageant things where I think we're once again putting out targets for these pedophiles. Is there any screening who even walks into these things?
Well, I think that's a great question, but it goes back to any organized youth activity, whether it's Little League, cheerleading, a dance competition. These events are open to the public. However, I do believe that if it is a credible event, not only the parents but the producers and everyone recognizes, obviously, if a situation does develop that is inappropriate or that is uncomfortable, whether it's from an audience member or staff or whatever the case may be. So I believe that everyone is aware, regardless whether it's a pageant, a modeling competition, a dance recital, a soccer game, a Little League baseball game, whatever the case may be.
I got to break off here. I want to thank Carl Dunn, CEO of Pageantry Magazine, for being with us. Before we get to speaking Deutsch, finally, about these pageants, there is no reason for beauty pageants for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old girls. No reason. We're looking for trouble on every level with the perverts out there, with kids' own self-esteem. It's wrong. Let's keep it to when they're young women, not little girls. That's common sense speaking Deutsch.